Thanks to the support as a channel member, Blake Jeffrey. Well, in today's episode, after a 16-year career, fingers crossed, I finally win a Premier League, which would be my first trophy in England since we got promoted with Peterborough Sports way back when. Hello and welcome to Club 6, Part 7 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, fingers crossed, is a trophy lift. Since you were last with me, we have got back to winning ways other than getting ourselves knocked out of the FA Cup by our old rivals, Preston. They're only rivals because I managed them previously. We are moving along quite nicely in the Europa League as well. We've got a Europa League quarter-final against Galatasaray coming up. That's actually starting to get slightly spicier the deeper we get into it, but it's still definitely a tournament we should be winning. But as you can see, we have won a lot of Premier League football matches. And in fact, since Blanco has been back in the team in goal, we've not conceded a goal in the Premier League, including this excellent 2-0 win away against Chelsea. So this is what the Premier League looks like. 6 games to go. We are 14 points clear now of Tottenham, who are down in second place. We can theoretically still finish as low as 6th, but the gap in points between 6th and 2nd is so small that as soon as we start to not be able to drop down out the Champions League, we also won't be able to drop out of winning the league title. It all makes sense in my brain. I don't want to miss the trophy lift. We've been building up to this for ages. And there's also a lot of these games in hand are played before we play again. So today, you can see where I've just been checking that. In fact, today we play Cardiff, while there's various other games going on around us, but Preston play tomorrow, Manchester United then play on Monday, then Manchester City are playing there, Tottenham play there, Man United and Preston both play there, and then you've got Tottenham playing there, and then eventually it comes back round to us playing Southampton. So depending on how today goes, we might be showing you Southampton as well, we might be showing you Galatasaray, might be showing you a semi-final of the Conference League. Who knows? Job 1 is win this match today. And we're going to have to do it without Jude Bellingham, who's picked up an injury. He's missed the last couple of matches. But thankfully, Jaeger is back from his international duty and then the injury that he had following that. So he's back in the team. Jallo is just recovering from injury as well. But we're going to keep him knocking around because we want a trophy lift. And for that, we want our captain on the pitch. So this is the team for the game against Cardiff. We've got Blanco in goal, a back four of Peralta, Corgi, Raimon and Wilson. Jaeger at the base of the midfield, Owning and Ramon ahead of him. Koning on the left, Jallo on the right, Borge up front. Let's just get this team committed. Submit. Let's get this team submitted and go beat Cardiff, which theoretically should be easy enough to do. If we stumble at Cardiff, that's going to be problematic. But we would like to get this Premier League win wrapped up sooner rather than later, so that's the final thing ticked off, the final piece of the puzzle. And then I think at that point we probably commit to next season being the final season of the save, no matter what happens. We're not just going to keep going indefinitely and wait for a Champions League win, but I think we are just going to commit to one more year of non-league to legend after this one. We'd obviously like to win a 2nd Premier League and a 3rd Champions League, and those two combined should, I think, be enough to get me to the top of the Hall of Fame, which we looked at in yesterday's episode. And Adama Kone has scored inside the first minute of this match. Of course, all that does rely on us winning the Premier League this season, but we should. We're so far clear. We really should. And like I say, rather than just carrying on indefinitely, knowing we're definitely going to win, I figure let's introduce a little bit of jeopardy. It's 16 years, like I said in the intro, 16 years my managerial career has been going on. I've made a lot of money in that time, and I think I'm getting ready to retire. But before I do, I would like that one final crack at a 3rd Champions League win to at least put me level with Bob Paisley as a 3-time Champions League winner and the joint most successful English manager in Europe ever. I mean, the fact that we're hopefully going to have a Conference League win to top on to that. We won the Conference League with Juventus as well, didn't we? We won something with Juventus, I'm sure. I want to be the best English manager ever, but I also want to have plenty of time to enjoy my retirement, go buy myself a little villa in Benidorm and have a lovely old time retiring being left alone and just not having to worry about managing football matches anymore. It sounds lovely. So 1 more year to go, boys and girls. But for today, we're going to win the Premier League. Jaeger plays it across to Ramon, who takes a lovely touch, turns, and he's brought down in the penalty area, seemingly, but apparently not. And Cardiff have got the chance for a counter-attack. But to be honest, we're 15 minutes in. We're already 2-0 up. It should just be a formality. If we end up winning this match, it will be all but mathematically there. We're so far ahead on goal difference that even if we lost every game remaining, we would probably still win the league. And I suspect we'll actually win the league off camera before the next match, which is frustrating because it might mean no trophy lift. And it would be, that's one of the reasons why I want to do 1 more year. I need that Premier League trophy lift. I started this save the day Football Manager 2023 came out. I can't end it without a Premier League trophy lift on camera because I just feel like I'm owed it, even if it is with Liverpool, which is not how any of us imagined we would get that. But, you know, things happen. We're 3-0 up, by the way. This is lovely to see. I don't know if there's mathematically a way we can win the Premier League and get the trophy lift here. I don't think there is. You know, maths or mental arithmetic, not my strong point. I don't think Spurs are... Oh, Spurs are playing. So Spurs are beating Chelsea at the moment. Potentially, if Spurs lose to Chelsea, maybe we could get the trophy lift today. That's a lovely goal from Cardiff, just to spice things up and keep them interesting. If we do mathematically win the league today, we'll just focus in on the Conference League for the rest of the season. And by focusing on it for the rest of the season, I mean, I'll probably we'll assume we're going to beat Galatasaray. I'll show you the semi-final in the second half of today's episode, and we'll do the final tomorrow and then crack on with our final summer transfer special of the entire series. And don't worry, what I have planned next for the next series on the channel is going to be lovely. I've just seen Cardiff have got the other Bellingham in their team. That's a little bit of a shame that Jude is injured. We could have had Bellingham versus Bellingham, the battle of the Bellinghams in central midfield, but 'twas not to be. Jude is injured. We should draft Job in and get him to take his place for the next couple of matches while Jude is nursing his injury. Right, Raimon plays it forward to Wilson. There must be another Wilson knocking around somewhere because he's earned himself a G next to his name. And it's the ball forward for Cardiff, a flick on, and luckily it was their furthest man forward who does the flick on, so nothing comes of it. And now Wilson on that right-hand side again, who, as the season has gone on, has really started to establish himself as our right-back. I have no idea what our transfer budget is likely to be for this summer, whether we're going to be given any kind of significant money. We're returning to the Champions League, but we know from the fact we were given a lot last summer when we weren't in the Champions League, then they took it off me, that Football Manager isn't always the best at budgeting for the future and might not take Champions League qualification into account. We've seen it before when we've been like teams we've done Road to Glory with, for example. The first season we got into Europe with Preston, we didn't really get a huge amount of money to spend. So it might be that the Spensies lags for a year and we might not be able to go out and buy a right back this summer. And Wilson might be the guy that we're going with, which I guess will be best for him and best for that that club vision objective that we've got to develop players from the youth team, because he is someone who hadn't really played for this Liverpool team when I arrived, and he's now become a first team regular. So I think that counts. We've developed someone from the youth team, albeit because we kind of had to. But Peralta playing it forward to Kone, and Bellingham has come across and just taken the ball off him very comfortably. And that was a wild attempt at a tackle from Corgi, and Cardiff are in. If they score again here, this whole formality of wrapping up the league today that I've been talking about might be having a spanner thrown in the works. It's 3-2. We've got half an hour of this game left to play, and the momentum is now all with Cardiff, and we probably need to just focus in on what's going on. They've had 3 shots on target and scored 2. Remember when I said Blanco hadn't conceded a goal this year? Well, he's now conceded 2 today in a match that he really shouldn't have been conceding goals in. Peralta's not had a good game at all, so we'll bring Elvis on to play left back. Jallo is going to come off for Aspas, and we'll put Borge out onto the right-hand side. And I think we will also take off one of the centre-backs, bring Sugimoto on, and that way we can have the right-footed centre-back in now. So I don't know if it will make a difference, but usually when we're a bit messy defensively, we bring on a right-footed centre-back, and it does sometimes calm things down a little bit. We shall see. Kone on the left-hand side then. I mean, he's crossed it very deep, all the way back to Wilson there, who tries to drive it across the area, looking for Borges. It falls to Ramon, and it's a 19th goal of the season for him to make it 4-2, and that should wrap things up after that little bit of a scare that we just had. I mean, that's an extraordinary goal return as well for a central midfielder from Ramon. He has been absolutely brilliant for us, playing in this attacking Mazzala role all season long. What are Tottenham doing? They're still 1-0 up over Chelsea, so I don't think we can get a trophy lift today, much to my sadness. There's the other Wilson. S. Wilson knocking around at the back for Cardiff, and they're still attacking. They're still going for it here. Wilson heads clear as far as owning, but he doesn't get a hold of the ball properly, and it's back with Cardiff, who are once again going to try and build another attack. And this is, like I say, it's not quite the way the script was written for today. This was supposed to be all very comfortable, and it's not necessarily working out that way. Obviously, when we turn it on, we're good going forward, but they're causing us more problems at the back than I would have liked, and that might be a problem when we look ahead to a potential Champions League run next season. That we might not have the defence that we need to be able to go all the way. We're going to need money to spend this summer. If the board are listening, we need money to spend this summer. Please and thank you. Kone makes it 5-2. We're obviously sorted going forward. The midfield's only going to get better when Bellingham drafts back in there. So I'd like to sign Owning permanently, but I have to prioritise a right back over throwing money at him. So we might not have him knocking around next season, which would be a shame. But we do have other midfielders, the likes of Filipov. There's a young lad who's out on loan who just finished in the top 30 on the next gen. Hubbard, I think his name is, who we could potentially bring into the first team squad. He's a central midfielder. So owning's probably a lower priority than bringing in a right back would be. But then, of course, that gets in the way of Wilson. So I don't know what we're going to do. That's why you have to tune in for the transfer special. We've got a corner hit. Is this on extended highlights? It's like key highlights. It's been a very long football match. Borges with the cross, looking for Sugimoto. Can't find him. Bellingham trying to get things clear for Cardiff. He doesn't manage it, and we are going to make our final couple of changes. Jaeger is going to come off for the aforementioned Filipov. And we're also going to bring Antunes on, and Gabriel can go over play right back. Antunes can play left back. It's really a makeshift defence. If I was given the option to just give all of my defenders back to the footballing gods, sell all of them, and just go out and buy 6 or 7 new defenders this summer, I would absolutely do that, because this defence, it's so unbalanced. It's a mess. They're all left-footed. We haven't got enough fullbacks. It's just, I can't go and do that because I won't be able to get enough money for all of the ones that we've got to be able to fund all of the ones I'd want to bring in. But yeah, this defence is frustrating me. It's an ongoing frustration at this club. Aspas has had his 30th goal of the season disallowed. And are we going to get the full-time whistle soon, ref? I think, did that just say Spurs are now 2-0 up over Chelsea? Borges wins the ball back on that right-hand side. Kone to Aspas, and now Ramon can get there before the Cardiff player, and we are going to go for another counter-attack. Antunes really not comfortable playing at left-back. Oh, he has charged off forward. He's just run off up the pitch. So maybe he is. Maybe he's going to be involved in this attack just to prove me wrong. Owning to Filipov. I think Antunes making his way back. Come on then, I'll have a go after all. Plays it forward to Ramon, and now Aspas is in. I think he's beaten the offside trap this time, and that should be goal number 30. It makes it 6-2, and that was a very, very good football goal. And I can only hope Chelsea can find a way back against Spurs so that we can have that trophy lift, but I suspect it's not happening. So that's a lovely pass from Ramon. Perfectly timed run from Aspas. And he has been much better than I thought. It's actually still only 1-0. It must have been the scoreline in the Leeds game I noticed before. I still don't think we've won the league today, which is a shame. We might have confirmed Champions League football, so we might get our budget through. But I suspect we've not even done that until a few more matches have played. Yeah. So the league table is, look, we're 17 points clear. We've got 5 games left, but Spurs have 6. Arsenal can't catch us, but Preston have got 7 games left and are only 18 points behind. And Man City and Man United, 7 games to play, and they're 21 points behind. So theoretically, Man City, Man United can both catch us, but won't be able to better our goal difference. Preston could still finish ahead of us on points if they win all 7 remaining matches and we lose all 5 of ours. Preston could still win the league. And Tottenham could as well. I mean, so the irony is the only 2 teams that can now catch us and finish above us are Tottenham and Preston. But we're still apparently can finish as low as 5th because it doesn't take goal difference into account. There could be a huge swing. I get it. Right. I think what we'll do then is I'm going to assume things are going to sort themselves out before the second leg against Galatasaray. So we'll probably do the second leg against Galatasaray unless things are still waiting to be resolved before we get to it. Well, I don't think we're going to get to see this trophy lift. It's all getting very confusing. These in-between matches have been played. You can see Preston are now the only team that can catch us. The irony of Preston having not won the league for 150 years and all for weeks. I've talked about wanting to come back to Preston and win the Premier League. They didn't want me back, and now I'm the only thing standing in their way of winning a Premier League. But got to do what you got to do. Tottenham dropped some points there, which is why they're now out of the running. But Preston are proving to be relentless. Tottenham dropping points again there. So Spursy. But we're now playing Southampton. I don't think we can win the league today, but my maths might be wrong. Wouldn't that be a thing? We're currently 12 points clear with 5 games left to play. So if we win, we'll be 15 points clear with 4 games to play. But Preston don't play today, so they'll still have 5 games to play at 15 points behind. They're so far behind on goal difference, we'll have effectively won the league, but we won't actually have won the league. What we have done is qualify for the Champions League, which means we've had budgets through and the club are ridiculous. So despite this, they've given me this. So we should be able to go out and do some proper spending this summer, which is very much needed. We've immediately gone straight out to try and get this guy, Martin Malik, who is a right back, wonder kid right back, already 12 caps for the Czech Republic at 19 years old, off of Sparta Prague, proper bargain hunting. He'd only cost us £6 million. He's wanted by all the big clubs, and hopefully we're going to get him secured, and then we'll move on to additional targets. But for now, are we going to play Southampton? Right, forget that. We can't win the league here. I'm going to try and show you a trophy lift and probably balls it up. If I balls it up, I'll show you the second leg of the Europa League semi-final instead. How's that for a deal? I don't know why we can't just all play on the same day. It would make life so much easier. And of course, it's happened off camera. As a result of that result, Preston losing away against Norwich, there is your confirmation that we have won the Premier League. Lovely old stuff. The board are obviously very happy about it. The fans are happy about it. I've entered the European Hall of Fame, which we'll check in on that in a moment. But most importantly, it is a Premier League win for Liverpool. After 1 year away, we're back on top. Lovely old stuff. We've also made a £250 million offer for Bilger that's been rejected. 50 million up front, 200 on the Never Never. He's going to go to Manchester City, and it's going to make me sad. But we've got Martin Malik agreed to be coming in. But most important of all, let's just check in on the Hall of Fame and see where I stand. If we start with the nationality one, first of all, I am slowly closing in on Bob Paisley. We've still got the Conference League to play for this season. And then, of course, whatever we can muster up next year. But I'm in the European one, which is exciting. Am I? No. Is that not what they meant before? Hold on. Chapman enters European Roll of Honor. New Hall of Fame. They're not on there. Well, super. We're going to go and play. I'm going to play the first leg against Mainz off camera. I'll show you the second leg of the Conference League semi-final to finish this episode off. And then fingers crossed tomorrow we get the final. Turn the fan off. Take the headphones off. We're getting a trophy lift. I don't know why we're getting a trophy lift. We don't normally get a trophy. I've got a mint in my mouth. It's a trophy lift. We beat Newcastle 6-0. It's a trophy lift. I thought we'd missed it. Oh, what a wonderful thing. Sit up straight, Kev. I was not expecting this to happen. But there is your Premier League title trophy lift. What a time to be alive. And I apologise that I have it's a Wilhelmina mint. They're not a sponsor. They do want to sponsor me. I'm happy to be paid in mints. There's a cartwheel for you. Beautiful stuff. After 16 seasons and 7 months of real life? That's a ridiculous amount of time. We have a Premier League trophy title lift. Now let's go and get ourselves into the Conference League final. Actually, you know what? Forget getting to the final. Let's just show you the final because we absolutely battered Mainz and we were 4-0 up. There was no point showing you us just running rampant. As you can see, we have been very, very good. This might be the most number of matches I've ever covered in one YouTube video before. Where did we even start? All the way up here somewhere? We've played a lot of football matches. We did win the Premier League, as you know. We've finished 20 points clear of Preston, who, let's see if they've got anything else still to play for this season. I know they just played in the FA Cup final. They just won the FA Cup. But, of course, they weren't in Europe at all this year. Silly gooses. They will be back in the Champions League with us next year. And look at that. A further demonstration of squad building with Kev. The top 3 in the Premier League are all my boys. Lovely, lovely, lovely. But now we've got to beat Hibs in the Conference League final, just because we'd quite like to win another trophy in the whole interests of that Hall of Fame thing. So this is the team for the Conference League final. Blanco in goal. About for Peralta, Ryman, Antunes and Pereira. Bellingham at the base of the midfield. Elliott and Ramon ahead of him. Kone on the left. Borges on the right. Aspas up front. We should, as champions of England, be able to comfortably beat Hibs, you would think. So this should just be a formality and another trophy lift. But I've played enough Football Manager over the years to know that there's always a potential banana skin, and this definitely could be one. So I would like early goals. And yes, I do mean multiple early goals, please. If we can go 2 or 3 up. Is that Simon Darlington, who we had at Preston all those years ago? He was a right back. It is Simon Darlington. Oh, we've got to see what he's up to. I love checking in with the old boy. He's 27 now. Only 9 caps for Wales. I genuinely thought he would end up better than that. He's playing in a European final. He's been a regular starter for Hibs for the last couple of years. Still a pretty decent free transfer signing, if you ask me. 10 years ago, we signed him for Preston. Goodness me, I realise I'm becoming an old man on his retirement tour, looking around this save now, but we've gone so deep into this save. Next season will be season 17. We don't normally get this far in non-league to legend, and I'm enjoying the romance of seeing my boys grow up and become men, and we're going to beat him in the final, because obviously that's what we've got to do. Roman has put us 1-0 up. Borges, another one. My latest boy is Borges, who is in the team ahead of Jallo today, because I figured, you know what? He could use the experience. Jallo is probably going to win the Ballon d'Or. There seems to be certainly a bit of a weighting in Football Manager towards the best player for the team you manage as the human player. If you're at a big club, there's a very good chance your best player is going to win the Ballon d'Or. We saw it with Vlahovic previously. I would expect Jallo to win the Ballon d'Or. So he doesn't need it. He doesn't need a Conference League final. He's barely started a game in the Conference League this season. But Borges, for sure, will benefit from the experience. It's going to be an in-swinging corner from Elliott, looking for that far post, but it's actually Simon Darlington. My instinct there was to say young Simon Darlington. Of course, he's not a young man anymore, but he does manage to head it behind for another corner. It's Borges coming over to take again, looking for that near post where Antunes was lurking, but he can't find him. And now Aspas to Ryman and Bellingham, and now it's back to Pereira. It remains 1-0 to Liverpool, and Hibs trying to get an attack going, but we've just snuffed it out relatively comfortably. And now Ramon playing it into Aspas, who has finished as the Premier League's top scorer this season. All those doubts we had over him at the start of the season, he's put paid to all of those with a fantastic goal-scoring return this season. I mean, if Bilger became available, I'd still probably bring him in. And I think a front 3. I mean, we could probably sell Jallo if we got Bilger, and we'd have Borges just take his spot. Have Borges and Bilger and Aspas kind of fighting over the front. It would make sense to. We'd absolutely, of all the positions we could sign, Bilger is the one who plays in the one we need to strengthen the least. The only thing that would be worse than bringing in Bilger would be bringing in yet another left-sided centre-back, which we might yet do. But I'm going to bring him in if I can. Elliott, ball over the top to Kone, who squares it to Aspas. And does it tell us how many goals? I mean, it's potentially getting disallowed. It's not told us how many goals he's scored. Is that the tell? I don't know what the tell is yet this year, but the fact it's not told us he's scored X number of goals, it's clearly not the tell because the goal has been awarded. And there is your confirmation. It is Julio Aspas' 35th goal of the season. Is he justifying £425,000 a week? Probably not. It's still far too much money for a player of his standard to be earning. He's not a regular starter for Spain. And if we could, I mean, if we had Vlahovic here, for example, he wouldn't be a regular starter here at Liverpool either. Likewise, if we brought Bilger in, that's where we'd play Bilger for sure. And there is Kone on his own, just dancing through the Hibs defence. That's the third goal. They are the early goals that I was looking for. They have been successfully accomplished. It's 3-0 as we approach half-time, and this is going to be our second trophy lift of the episode. And we love one of the proper UEFA licensed trophy lifts because they're fancy with the fancy proper stage. So we get fancy proper stage, and that's always good. Peralta with the throws. We aim to make it 4 before half-time. Let me know down in the comments section who you would be looking to strengthen with this summer. Obviously, we've already got a right-back lined up to come in. I think probably a real top-level right-sided centre-back would be a wise idea. A left winger could be handy. We've only really got Kone who can play out there. So maybe a left winger who can also play up front and offer some proper competition to Aspas would be ideal. And then I'm looking at central midfield where we've got Jude Bellingham and Harvey Elliott both in their early to mid-30s, and we could probably do with a younger face in there. I'm not sure that I'm going to sign owning permanently because I think the agreement we've got with Juventus is for like £40 million. That's a lot of our budget to go on a player that hasn't been a regular starter for us, just like he was never a regular starter for me at Juventus. I don't think he's ever likely to be a regular starter for me here at Liverpool. He's a very useful squad man to have, and I'd love to have him on loan again next year, but I don't think we're going to blow most of our transfer budget on bringing him in permanently. That was a real demonstration of how quick Borges is, by the way. He has absolutely ruined that Hibs left back for pace, and we are 4-0 up at half-time. Feels a little harsh to be thrashing them so comprehensively, but it's just further demonstration that it's a bit of a waste of time for all involved for the English teams to be involved in the Conference League. We've picked up an easy trophy. It's like winning the Johnson's Paint Trophy. It's our reserves that have played almost the entire tournament. We've stuck the first team out for the final, and they're going to absolutely rinse them. And even then, we've left out our best player. I don't know. I don't think there's much benefit to the English teams being in this. It would be nice for this to be a competition. Some of the other nations could have a chance of winning, but I imagine it won't turn out this way in real life. But certainly in Football Manager, it tends to be just whichever English team qualifies each year tends to go on and win it. I think Southampton are the current holders, being the representative of England who were in it last year. Simon Darlington's been taken off, which is very sad. It wasn't even his fault that they were being so poor at the back. We can now bring Jallo on. We're also going to bring on Corgi. You know what? We'll bring on Sugimoto as well to play at centre-back. And I think it's time to drop a little bit of praise. We're 4-0 up in the European final. That's never going to be a bad thing. And it's Harvey Elliott with the in-swinger. Sugimoto is there. It's back off the crossbar, and Ramon puts it over the line. It's his 24th goal of the season. We have had some players who've scored a lot of goals this year, but we have also spread them around. We are a very, very good free-scoring attacking team, as we consistently demonstrate. And we've done it again there, and that's a tidy finish from Ramon. And both him and Aspas looking for their hat-trick as we enter into the final 10 minutes or so of the game. So I guess we have to leave both of them on. We will take off Harvey Elliott. LOLLUJO can come on for him and have another go at playing central midfield. And we'll bring Filipov on to play at defensive midfield at the expense of Jude Bellingham. 10 minutes to go. Can either of these Spanish boys go out there and finish off their hat-tricks and make this a 6-0 final? Aspas is going to give it a good go. Shoots from range, he's hit the inside of the post and it bounces clear. Oh, that would have been a wonderful goal, but unfortunately couldn't quite keep it on target. But we'll take 5-0. 5-0's all right. We've got 1 minute of time still to play in this match. It's a towering header from Peralta. And now Kone plays it back to Raimon and Sugimoto. Just get the ball forward. Come on, we want 6, boys. We want 6. Jallo is in. Jallo makes it 6. Goal number 41 of the season for the man who is surely nailed on, guaranteed to be your future Ballon d'Or winner. And I tell you what, if the new manager of Juventus is watching, I'll swap him for Bilger. No money, change hands. I'll swap him. Jallo's 28, Bilger's 21. Best player in the world for the best young player in the world? I'll do that swap. If they're interested, I am offering that swap. But here is our Europa Conference League trophy lift. And look, I get to wander up and get a medal. Oh, it's lovely. For the Premier League one, I had to stand off at the side, but I'm properly in the mix for this one. Although they're not letting me stand on the special UEFA mouse mat that they all get to stand on. But here comes the trophy and wonderful stuff. Europa Conference League winners is the one everybody wanted. I mean, importantly, significantly, I guess, it is a European trophy, which probably will do me the world of good on that Hall of Fame. If we've got a chance going into the final season of the save to finish top of the Hall of Fame, that is a thing I have never done before as part of non-league to legend. We've never done a normal non-league to legend save and ended up top of the Hall of Fame. I mean, it's only the English one. It's not the all-time one. But still, no, it's nationality we want. So nationality-wise, maybe the Conference League doesn't count for anything on there. I mean, it's listed. I don't think even a Premier League, Champions League, FA Cup treble next year will be enough to catch Bob Paisley, which I'm a little confused about because he's got 6 domestic divisions. So have I. Does that mean the Premier League is weighted more than La Liga and Serie A? I guess it must. He's got 3 domestic cups. I've got 2, and then 5 other trophies, which for him included the Europa League, the 3 Champions Leagues. I've got 5 other trophies as well. There's obviously far more on there. It's interesting. I wonder which ones actually count. We've got the 2 Champions Leagues, the it was Europa League with one of Juventus, not the Conference League. So we've now won all 3 of the European trophies. We've completed the set. Beautiful stuff. Right, tomorrow, of course, transfer special. We've got a lot of money to spend, and I need a plan to spend it. So I'll be working on that before tomorrow's episode. Let me know down in the comments section what you'd do. But in the meantime, if you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.